Hi, and welcome to Living in El Paso, Texas. This is a YouTube channel where we talk all things El Paso, eat, sleep, work, play. My name is John Pena. I am a real estate agent here, so if you are considering a move or selling your home here, please consider reaching out to Pena El Paso. We are growing, and that is very much because of a lot of you guys, so thank you so much. So in this episode, we're going to talk about monsoon season in El Paso. Hi, thanks so much for checking out the channel. This episode, we're going to talk about monsoon season, and then we're just going to talk about just kind of living in El Paso during the week of August 27th, 2021. Monsoon season. What is monsoon season? And I did not know the answer to that until pretty recently. So we've been here for about 2 years now, and the first year that we lived here, we didn't get that much rain. So I've shared with you before that on average, we get about 10 inches of rain per year. According to my friends, a little local place on the west side here off of Red where I get my hair cut, according to those guys, last year we got about 6.5 inches of rain. Now, 10 inches of rain a year isn't a lot. Of course, we are in a desert though. So, they also said that for the last 2 to 3 years, we've been under 10 inches, so almost in like a little bit of a drought situation. That all changed this year, last month and this month. 2021, according to these gentlemen, we received about 14 inches of rain. Now, I believe that because there were days where I was out here bucketing out water from my pool because it was going to overflow. There was that much rain. And so we got a pretty good soak in 2021. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about it just so that you were aware of when it happens, which is end of June to about the end of August. So basically the months of July and August are what folks here locally tell me are kind of the monsoon season time. So I wanted to tell you kind of what the good and the bad of it is. And so let's go back and forth. We'll even start with the bad one. So as I'm standing out here, you might see me swatting my arms or doing this. And that is because with all the water, there's a lot more flies and there are some mosquitoes. Typically, this isn't a problem that we have in El Paso, especially kind of up in the west side here, even on the east side, Far East Horizon City. Behind me, towards New Mexico, Upper Valley, that area is a little more, it's down by the river, so it's the lowest elevation, so they're gonna have more water, which is great if you wanna like have a green yard or raise crops or grow pecan trees, but it does make it so that there are some more mosquitoes. So one bad thing about monsoon season in El Paso, mosquitoes. A good thing about monsoon season, something that I love and is crazy, I'm gonna roll this drone footage that we captured. It's so green. It's really unique. The mountains are just bursting with green. There's flowers out. It's everything's green. It's actually it's really cool. Quite honestly, I like a desert and I like the fact that it's dry, but sometimes you don't get a lot of green, and even sometimes people will reach out and be like, I don't know, there's no green for me. Well, this year there's plenty of green, and it's really beautiful because it's right there in our Franklin Mountains. It's all around us, and so that's kind of a nice, pleasant thing about a strong monsoon season like we had this year. Another bad thing, you probably can't see it too well behind me, but behind me there is a weed that is basically as tall as me, and I'm no giant, okay? I like to say that I'm 5'8", but honestly I'm probably closer to 5'7". But this guy, this weed, has done very well for himself. And so I'm going to also show this footage of another property we own.
Hey guys, so here's a quick video just showing you what happens to El Paso when it rains for 2 weeks straight.
The backyard, we didn't have anybody living there for a while, and it wasn't zero-scaped. It didn't have any rock or anything down already. And it is obviously, as you can see, a complete mess.
And some of these are as tall as me, if not taller.
Miguel was kind enough to get over and get some footage.
Got quite the day of work ahead of me.
One of the bad things maybe about monsoon season is the weeds can get pretty out of control. So another nice thing about the rain, quite honestly, is that it's just a nice change. This is Sun City. It's awesome having the sun, but June, July are really hot, but when we're getting a lot of rain, well then of course it's cloudy. So to tell you the truth, on the peak months where we're getting a lot of our heat and it's really hot, if we have a stronger monsoon season, well, it gets cooled off, right? Because it's cloudy, the sun isn't there baking you, and the wind can come up. So between the wind and the rain, you know, it can really kind of cool off, which is pretty awesome. And then one more negative thing about monsoon season, not so much for us here in El Paso, but for the folks who are kind of behind me here. I'm pointing kind of southwest, and you're looking towards New Mexico, right? Turns out, I was listening to a radio story today. It turns out that our folks and our friends in New Mexico in southern Dona County actually got a lot of flooding, and that of course isn't so good. Even Santa Teresa, a little community I talk about a lot sometimes about being in New Mexico but feeling like it's in El Paso. They're doing a lot of new construction there, but those areas are down at the river level, and so due to gravity, when we get all that rain, that water has to go somewhere. And if, you know, sometimes unfortunately it sounded like it did cause some flooding problems for folks in those areas. Sounds like a lot of folks thought that the improvements to the dams were enough so that they could get rid of flood insurance, which some of them did, and now they find themselves in a position where, you know, they need it and they don't have it. So that's definitely not a good thing about the monsoon season. So with that hopefully kind of explains a little bit of monsoon season to you. And in addition to that, we wanted to talk about a couple other kind of things that are just happening in El Paso. What we're realizing is that we created this channel to help people who are relocating to El Paso. I created this channel, honestly, from a business perspective to try to generate business, to try to generate leads, people who are looking to buy or sell a home. And so we created a lot of videos that speak directly to that. Top 5 reasons why you might move here, the good, the bad, the ugly of El Paso, cost of living, property taxes, right? And so we've done a lot of those videos, and now we find ourselves sort of transitioning into just kind of the more current events, news. Like I said in the last video, we really want to spotlight local businesses. And so for some of you out there, you also know that I do a little podcast. It's called New Agent Mindset, where I talk about kind of real estate from a business perspective. It's mostly geared towards other real estate agents. However, I also try to talk about how I'm trying to make myself a better person, make my business better. And one of the things that I had talked about is that I wanted to start getting up early, right? Even like 5 a.m. and embracing this kind of quiet time where I could, you know, wake up, you know, read and be ready to go to work, focused, energized. But I was really struggling. I found a hack, and I think I'd like to share it with you because it also spotlights a new business that I think is awesome over here in El Paso. So I'm going to roll this footage. We have a beautiful new gym on the west side off of Belvedere called Connective. And Leah and I decided to join the gym. And the thing that I love about it is that they have classes that start around 5:15, 5:30 in the morning and on. And so now what I do is I'm doing these classes in the morning, and I get up and go to them, because if I don't show up to a class that I said I'm going to go to, they charge me $7 a class. So I know it sounds a little cheap, but it's really working. I was up at 5 a.m. every single day this week. So this is a new gym, and the other reason I'd like to kind of showcase it is because you can tell that this place is really, really nice. Trust me, on the inside, it is absolute state-of-the-art. There's technology and workout equipment and gym stuff that I didn't even know existed in this place. And so it's really awesome. So I wanted to do a quick kind of shout out to this gym in particular. But what I'll also tell you, because a lot of you do ask me this if you're relocating here, is are there places to work out? Absolutely. So aside from this gym, that's kind of more of a custom, one-of-a-kind gym, there are a ton of Planet Fitnesses, tons of Gold's Gym, tons of local small business gyms. So people in El Paso are pretty health-minded, and we should do a video on this, but there's a lot of very healthy people in El Paso who are working out, and you know, these gyms are getting a lot of folks into them. And so that's really about it for this week for us. Like I said, if you have any questions, by all means, please consider reaching out to us. If you have any ideas for small businesses, for topics that you think we ought to cover, by all means, reach out to us. We're kind of excited. So far, the channel has really been me for the last year. We're kind of excited to get some other people's eyes and some other people's footage of their experience living in El Paso, Texas. And so, you know, some of you will resonate with the things that I show, and others of you, I think, will probably resonate with some of these other people whose lives we start to share a little bit. And so, speaking of sharing our lives, I know a lot of people have been asking me about my cauliflower ear here. Cauliflower ear, for those of you who don't know, is what happens to boxers. So if you get punched in the ear enough, your ear swells up and like fluid goes into it, and then it hardens, and like you get this like chunky ear. I do this kind of grappling Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and sure enough, if enough people grab you and try to squeeze your head off, you can get it. And so I did get cauliflower ear, which I know makes me look pretty tough, which my buddies like to tell me. However, Leah's not so fond of it, and I was doing so good because this happened to me about 2 weeks ago or so, and I didn't go back to jiu-jitsu, and then I think it started getting better, and then today I went back to jiu-jitsu, and I was gonna just try to keep my opponents away from me and not let them grab my head, but it didn't quite work out that way. So I imagine my cauliflower ear is probably getting worse rather than better, but I'll keep you posted for that very important update on my ear. So other than that, couldn't be more excited to be here in El Paso, Texas. Couldn't be more excited to have the real estate business. We are really excited to start looking for other business opportunities in this city. It is full of opportunity. There are a lot of people coming into this city. There is a lot of, how can I say this? There is a lot of, I'll just say it, there's a lot of money coming into El Paso, which means that there's a lot of money to be made by small businesses, local businesses here in El Paso. And so we really love it, think it's a great place to live. And as the sun is going down, I hope I'm still can be seen here. So with all of that, hope everybody is well, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.